Quest for the worst.
Quest for the worst. Quest for the worst. Quest for the worst. Quest for the worst.
The Simpsons, welcome back, everybody, to Quest for the Worst. We are on the quest for the worst game ever made.
Yeah.
So, Spencer.
For reference, this is our second episode, and number one is taken by Bubsy 3D. We did that last time. We're hoping to figure out, is this game worse? The Simpsons Wrestling, is this worse than Bubsy 3D? So, should be exciting.
Well, we'll have a great discussion. You get to see us playing some of the game and also talking during that, and bit of a good episode. Before we get started, though, we had a T-shirt contest where I posted and asked people to give us game recommendations for this series, and we're going to put all those names into a wheel, which we have done, and give it a spin, and the winner will get a custom-made Quest for the Worst T-shirt. It's the only one that'll ever be made as of right now, at least. So, Spencer, whenever you're ready to give the wheel a spin, we will announce the winner.
Spinning now. We have Axel, Terry, BioPhoenix, Tyler, Nick T. Wolf, Legend of Leo, and our winner is... Oh, shit.
Who won?
Our winner is Terry.
Terry 309 won the Quest for the Worst T-shirt. Terry, I will reach out to you with your details and everything. Don't post anything in the comments here. Message me, and we'll get that situated. So yeah, welcome to the episode. Today we played the Simpsons Wrestling. Let's get it started. Let's get it started in here. Woo! Song.
I was so convinced, like, for literally maybe until like 5 years ago, that he said, "Let's get retarded."
Let's get retarded, Dude, it's Fox Interactive. What are we playing? Oh my God, it's Harambe!
Harambe's back, and he's pissed
There
off.
he is. Harambe's back, and he's pissed off.
The Simpsons
Dude,
Wrestling.
the Schmimpsons. There they are. Can you name all of the Simpsons in this picture?
Probably.
Do it.
All right, we got Lisa, Marge, Bart, Ned on the other side. Or I guess that's Grandpa behind him, and then Mo, and then I think... Oh.
Oh, well. What the fuck? What happened?
One of these buttons undoes the thing. Okay. And then on the other side, it's Apu, Professor Frink, Mayor Quimby, Krusty the Clown, Barney Gumble. I think that's the Bumblebee Man, and Lenny. And then obviously Homer and the...
Beside Mo, Beside Mo, you can only see his eye, but is that Principal Skinner?
I think so. And then obviously Groundskeeper Willie
cool.
underneath him. God damn it.
Why is it? Why?
It's like the old things where they would
Why?
give you like a demo of something.
Oh.
All right.
Okay, ready to play?
Yeah.
It was a fun time. We wrestled with the boys of Springfield. And the girls of Springfield. One girl in particular. Yeah. We were talking during the episode, and I was telling Spencer, like, this is a game right up his alley. It's The Simpsons, it's wrestling. This just should be your favorite game ever.
It should be, and the time period that it released is released in, you said 2001. So, FYI, like in terms of wrestling video games, well, okay, in terms of wrestling itself, 2001 was at the peak, or it was at the peak of probably the business of wrestling in general for a long time. It was at the very end of what's called the Attitude Era. That's the era of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, surely names that you know. In fact, in 2001, they like both, like The Rock kind of retired in 2001. He'd come back and help out, but he was much less of a character after that. And Stone Cold Steve Austin would run out. He would completely retire in I think 2003. So both their careers were like kind of ending. They started in 1998, and a lot of wrestling games started picking up at that time. Actually, one of the big reasons I became a wrestling fan was because of wrestling games. They were a lot of fun. Specifically, there was a group called the WCW games. Like, can't remember those ones as well, but they had like Backstage Assault, and they had another one that was really good. I can't remember it, and they're going to be mad at me because there's a really good one in there. But the ones on specifically the N64 were really, really good. And the ones that come to mind are WrestleMania 2000, and then more specifically, No Mercy, which came out mid 2000. WrestleMania 2000 came out in 1999, I believe, like late 99 in preparation. But No Mercy is considered like the best wrestling game ever. And I think in a lot of lists, and certainly it's up there for most people. And then on the PlayStation side, they had a brand called SmackDown that was actually pretty good. It wasn't as good, I don't think, as the N64 ones, but it was still pretty good. On the other side, you have The Simpsons, which, so I'm trying to think, 2001, certainly popular. I don't know if it's peak Simpsons. Certainly in quality, it's not peak, but popularity, it might be up there. But 2001, so wrestling and The Simpsons were certainly at highs at this time. So I'll be curious to see how this game turns out.
Yeah.
What's your situation? 2001 Simpsons wrestling. Where are you at with this?
I mean, this was completely off my radar for sure. I've never knew anything about wrestling. I knew who Stone Cold Steve Austin was because everybody at school talked about wrestling stuff. And I think I had probably seen a couple episodes of The Simpsons, but I don't know. I don't think I cared that much at that time, being younger. So this was completely off my radar. So there's no way in hell I would have ever thought to play The Simpsons wrestling. But since I do enjoy The Simpsons, it's definitely not like my favorite animated show of all time. I definitely tend to lean more into like the more absurd stuff. Like I love fucking Aqua Teen Hunger Force and stuff. Like more of the Adult Swim era. But I do really like The Simpsons, though. I think The Simpsons is very quality. Early Simpsons is very quality. So I've always heard that a lot of these games are awful above the Simpsons games. I think I've only played a handful of the PS2 era ones that were okay. This is definitely a game that I've heard rumors throughout the internet about throughout the years. So, yeah, rumors. like Adele would say, rumor has it.
Rumor has. Well, what's the rumor on the Metacritic score? Where are we at with this game?
Shit, I looked at it. Hold on, I had it up earlier. 32. It's 32 out of 100. That's what the Wikipedia says. I can go on Metacritic itself. Hold on. But
okay. I just want to make sure we always make sure that these meet the criteria. Which I'm sure I didn't doubt that this one did, but I just wanted to make sure.
Hold on, let me look it up here.
Because I know Terry's gonna be like World of Warcraft, and it's like, well, okay, it's not low.
Shit, come on. It's taking a minute to load. Yeah, 32 is what Metacritic has.
Okay.
And I'll tell you the critic and fan thing in a second. Metacritic's being slow.
Okay. Well,
Avowed got an 80.
I've heard it's not bad. No. It's apparently it's
on the front page.
It's part of like the Pillars series, which is kind of interesting.
I told you that.
Or are you the one that told me that? Okay, yeah. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the last episode. Okay, so critical reception is 32. User reception is 5.1.
Okay, so the users liked it a little more than
5.1. So yeah, it's in the yellow.
But you know what the users The users are like, Simpsons.
I played it when I was 4.
Yeah. Homer
I
said
played it
dough.
with my dad before his meth lab blew up.
Yeah.
And killed him. That was the last memory I have of my dad. It was playing the Simpsons Wrestling.
Yes.
Wrestling.
Wrestling.
I liked
Simpsons
it.
Wrestling.
It blew up in the meth lab with my dad, so I never got to play it again.
for those 3 minutes before his face was peeled off. We loved it.
We loved it. Yeah, so this was not something I would have ever played.
Tournament.
No, do new. No, why are you continuing?
My bad.
There's no data. There's no data, Spencer. What is this music?
Okay, who do we play as in this challenger circuit?
Why is Barney the first pick?
Yeah, I don't know. It's not logical. And Lisa's in it. I don't know. I wouldn't want Lisa fighting Groundskeeper Will.
Okay. No. Let's do Lisa. I think Lisa's a good first pick.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's go with Lisa. So Spencer, this game should really speak to you, right? Because you love wrestling and you love The Simpsons, right?
Yeah, if I'm to be...
versus Barney Gumble.
Jesus. Okay, so if I'm to be like an expert...
You booze, you lose.
Hey, you're one of the 7 Duffs. Get me up here.
Okay. See, if I'm an expert on anything,
Ouch!
it's The Simpsons in this era. Jesus. It's The Simpsons in this era, and it's wrestling in this era. So,
Ah, yeah. Legally sanctioned by...
What is happening? Dude, are you like? It looks like you're playing at like 2x speed right now.
it's freaking wild, isn't it? And that
Also, I
annoying
love-
noise is her blowing her saxophone every time. Jesus Christ.
I love Ned in the middle of the ring though.
Yeah. I think it's barbecue.
Jesus Christ.
Okay,
Okay, so what's the? Okay, explain the controls to me. What do you got going on?
alright, so triangle and square are like your combat. Like your punches and shit. And I guess your saxophone. X is jump, and it's terrifying. L1 is like a grapple / pin when they're on the ground. It's very hard to grapple anything. In fact, the only thing you can do is what's called an Irish whip, which is where you're throwing them against the ropes, which is very inconvenient because it's not ever what I want to do.
Ow!
I don't understand. Okay, so what's the bars? Is the green health or is the purple health?
Yeah, I think
or-
green is health and purple is like your stamina. So what you want to do is have their stamina low, so when you get them on the ground, you can pin them for 3.
Ow!
So you get your ass kicked on this drunk.
Yeah, Lisa's getting beaten up by a drunk man.
1, 2, 3.
Oh, I just lost.
I like how she's so small. One of his legs pinned her down.
Yeah. Lisa.
Yeah, who let her? Who let her wrestle? Alright, so I have the Wikipedia brought up here. I can rattle off some junk while you're playing. This game was released in 2001
Ow!
for the PlayStation 1, which was already a bad sign. I think if your PS1 game came out after the year 2000, you were in trouble. It has 20 playable characters, voiced by the series' regular voice cast, so that's exciting, right? You can hear the voices you know and love.
Voice cast of like 7 people, maybe.
Yeah, but still. I was trying to find there's no story on the Wikipedia, which I was hoping there was going to be a story of like why they're wrestling. But I guess they just are. What is that? Your fucking thing is your saxophone is annoying as shit.
Well, that's an artistic decision because Lisa's saxophone is annoying in the show.
Another victory for the Trunkinator.
Well, you lost. All right. Okay. Oh, we're going again. There you go. Spencer, keep it full screen, dude.
Oh shit!
Whoa, dude! You were playing the intro thing. You know, she does a little trumpet thing.
Yeah.
You're playing like the full little song.
Well,
You're almost there. You're almost there.
every time it's different.
It's like a combo.
Well, in the show, every time it's different. I actually think it's probably different. Super speed! Ah!
Yeah, that's what we needed for the game to go faster.
Yeah.
Released in 2001, which I think is hilarious when you see games. Games on the PS1 were still releasing up until like the mid 2000, like 2003, 2004, like around that time, which is baffling. But I guess I get it because ideally, like at the time, you could probably make these games a lot cheaper than a PS2 game, and they still work. Like if you own a PS2, you could still purchase it and play it. So it's not like you're missing an audience there. So I get making these games, but I think if you look at the PS1 library after the year 2000, it quickly goes downhill because the only games coming out are just cheap garbage.
Well, and like the yearly installments, right? Like I know like they did Madden up until the end, right? I'm sure, or whatever the equivalent was.
Oh well, yeah, the sports games, sure.
The sports
sure.
games, because the old guys were like, I ain't getting no PS2, and then they said, okay, I'll get one.
Like, hold on. What was the date of this? What was the release date? Okay, April 13th and March 23rd, depending on where you are, Europe and North America. I'm pretty sure by this point, Sega had already announced the Dreamcast was dead. Because that's the year it died.
Oh shit!
So I'm pretty sure everybody was already like the Dreamcast was out the door, you know.
So the PS1,
and then we got the Simpsons Wrestling.
the PS1 outlived the Dreamcast. Is that?
Yeah. The Dreamcast lasted like barely 2 years.
That's so funny. Wow.
Yeah. So that's where we were at this point in 2001. Spencer, you played the game and you've played other wrestling games. Why don't you do a little bit of a chat about the gameplay of the Simpsons Wrestling? How did it feel to play the Simpsons Wrestling?
The Simpsons Wrestling played so bad. It fundamentally didn't understand like what a wrestling game is, like what a grapple is, what a like one-on-one competition is, which again is so bizarre because there were so many examples of what you could do before it, and they completely ignored it. I mean, one of the fundamental things about a wrestling game is that you're like in wrestling, the concept of it is your shoulders traditionally are parallel with their shoulders. Like you're kind of like, as you move and turn, they're supposed to be turning and moving. And all the games had a targeting function where you would be targeting the person you're in a wrestling match with. I mean, the evolution of wrestling games was so much so that there's matches where there's 3 people in it. There's matches where there's 4 people in it. There's matches where there's tag teams. There's matches where and they had targeting systems where you could change who you were looking at. This game was only one-on-one and didn't have that. You were literally running by the seat of your pants through this game with no ability to actually, like, it didn't even feel like you were in a one-on-one match. It felt like you were in you just happened to be in the ring with this guy. What do you want to do? It's like, well, I want to fight that guy. It's like, well, maybe. It was
If you're lucky.
the controller's so atrociously bad. Like it is unbelievable. As far as other things like the combat, in wrestling traditionally you have strikes and then you have grapples. Grapples are more like your suplexes, your backdrops, your submissions if they're standing. Your strikes being your punches, your kicks, things of that nature. You're gonna give a shoulder check, a clothesline. They were atrocious. It was so unbelievably poorly done. They almost didn't exist. Like each character had like a punch, okay, and then they would have like a special move. Lisa would blow a saxophone, and Homer would like eat donuts and throw bowling balls. I get that it's a cartoon. It's supposed to be not like a serious wrestling game. But why not just call it like Simpsons Combat or something? Like, if you're gonna have a wrestling game, you should have wrestling moves.
Well, I mean, it was probably because like what you said earlier, it was probably because of how popular wrestling was at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably why they branded it that way. I mean, it's like I know, like a couple years after this on PS, I don't know how long it was after this, but I know on PS2 they also did the Simpsons skateboarding, which is apparently also pretty awful, which clearly is targeting like Tony Hawk.
Yeah. So
I think that's clearly what this game was a cash grab. It'd be like people who like wrestling and the Simpsons, like come on down. It's just funny to me because again, I don't know much about wrestling, but whenever I think of wrestling, I always think of people like standing up on like the lines and like doing the jumps and everything, and like body slams and stuff. It's like that's got stuff I think of, and like I didn't see any of this. I saw people zipping around the ring and super fast speed and doing the only part that even looked like wrestling was like with the ending part where you pin them down for like a second.
yeah,
That was the only part that I was like, that's wrestling, right?
yeah. I was very occasionally able to pull off a move, but the limit of the moves was kind of like you see in the picture here of that you don't see, but the cover of it, which is Groundskeeper Willie picking up Homer and like in a military press. That is a thing, and then you just throw him. So like it's just like a pick him up and throw him, like almost like a beat him up instead of a like because it's not really a move. Like it's not really what you would say in like a wrestling move. Wrestling gets very technical. Like you have suplexes, German suplexes, tiger suplexes, back suplexes, sidewalk slam suplex. Like there's all these different techniques you can use. They completely missed all of them and was like, what if you just throw the guy? Like that's not. It really misses the point of what makes wrestling interesting.
I think there could have been like even if they wanted to make like a wrestling adjacent game, I think there could have been ways to implement it while keeping like the Simpsons intact. Like I think of the only game I've ever played that was even remotely close to wrestling was Def Jam Fight for New York. I used to really like that game, and that game was a bunch of rappers like beat each other up and stuff, which was kind of fun. But like that one had like wrestling elements, like it was basically like a street wrestling game, But like
really
it still had like elements. Yeah, it's cool. It's a really fun game. I used to like it a lot. Me and my friends used to play it, and there used to be one that was great because like you could still you could jump up on things and do like the wrestling type slams and stuff that felt like wrestling, or what I know of wrestling. But also like you could pick up like a beer bottle and shank the other guy with it, or just like stuff like that, or just like throw the guy into the crowd around the fight and the guys in the crowd start beating him up. It's like there was fun elements that like made it feel unique. So it's like they could have actually made a wrestling game and then had elements of The Simpsons. Like what if instead of like I know in like wrestling they like bring out the chair and stuff. What if Homer brought out like a giant donut and like stuck you in it for like a thing or something. Like there's ideas like they could have implemented. But what I was watching you play, it just seemed like there was a lack of effort to do anything. It's like they were like, okay, this button makes your saxophone work. This button makes you jump. Okay. Go, like there's no cohesion. There's no real identity within the gameplay. It's just nonsense.
Yeah, I think you nailed it with the term effort. There just clearly was none. Because like I said, there were many wrestling games up to this point that were like you can literally there were a blueprint. There were multiple blueprints they could have taken. and they ignored all of them. Like they could have literally just stolen AKI's general method of moving around the ring. They have light grapple, strong grapple, and punch. Very simple, very easy to use, very arcadey. And then, you know, like when you grapple, you put a direction, and then that direction picks which move you're gonna do. Okay, so all you have to do at that point is animate a suplex. I guess in a way I understand why they didn't do some of this, because the character designs were so different. It's like you had Lisa, who's very small. You had Homer, who's mid range. You had Barney, who's huge. And your characters kind of taking the gamut in between that. And maybe they just didn't want to animate the moves for different characters because that would be like astronomically difficult. It's like you'd have to animate Lisa giving a suplex to Barney versus Marge versus Homer. And I can see how that would be annoying. But again, it's like if you're gonna make a wrestling game, you got to put wrestling moves in it. It's just weird that they.
Yeah.
So I can understand why they didn't do it, but it all just comes down to, like you said, like laziness.
So I have a question about wrestling games. I noticed that like it's a health bar based game, but then they pin you down. Is that how most wrestling games work, or do they just go on like a is it based like do most wrestling games base their gameplay on a health bar system?
Yeah, they usually do, and they usually focus on body parts that are like, it's like a certain body part is taking more hits, so they're more receptive to damage and whatever. At this time, wrestling games were really good. I'm just gonna be Homer. Seems like a safe pick. Yeah, at the time, like wrestling games were pretty solid. In fact, I think in the year 2000, No Mercy came out, which is my favorite wrestling
Homer
game.
Simpson versus Groundskeeper Willie.
This is a disaster in comparison to.
Crush you with my patented supersonic lard bomb.
It's weird too because like there's.
You'll feel like you've been wrestling wolves when you finish fighting Willie.
You'd think that the rules have been like of making a wrestling game were so clear.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, here we are, like to make a wrestling game, look at WCW or WWF, the games they were making. They were like huge selling games, and everyone loved them. And then they just said, like, no, we're gonna follow our own thing, and it's like, why?
I think this is even funnier to me because the only other Fox Interactive game I know I played was also on PlayStation, but it was Alien Trilogy, which is like a fantastic game. So it's like, I was like, oh cool, Fox Interactive, and then we started playing this, and I was like,
Hold on.
no.
This.
What did you do?
Unpause it because this thing is so freaking loud. Let me see if.
Oh yeah, I had to turn down the stream on my end.
There. Okay, that's better.
There we go. I like how he has a rake. I mean, okay, look, for all intents and purposes, the character models for the PlayStation 1 don't look that bad, right? Like, they look like the characters and like their animation style.
Mm-hmm.
So, at least on that front, like, the characters look like the characters and the voices seem to be pretty good, so... Oh no! I mean, the game looks terrible, but I could see being, like, a Simpsons fan at the time and this being entertaining.
It kind of it reminds me of, like,
that
sometimes I think of when I see these kinds of games, I think of why. Like, I ask the question why, you know? It's like... I would agree that this doesn't look... I mean, it looks bad, but
Yeah.
it doesn't look horrible for like PS1. But also,
it could look worse on PS1.
yeah, it certainly could look worse. Maybe if they made it earlier and put in the same effort, it would have looked worse. But my question is why? It's like people make excuses for this shit, and they'll be like, well, what did you think it would look like? It's a Simpsons game on the PS1. And then I go, okay, but why make it? Like, why try? Like, why do that? If you know it's going to look bad,
Money.
why not just...
Money.
Well, yeah, I'd be curious how this sold, though. Like,
Money, Spencer, money.
And then in a wrestling game, why can't I do, like, a wrestling move? Like, is there...
The game received gold sales award for the Entertainment and Leisure Software Publishers Association, indicating sales of at least 200,000 units in the UK. So at least we know it did pretty well in the UK.
The UK loves their Simpsons.
I guess so.
Like,
That's the only thing Wikipedia says about the sales.
like, okay, I grapple him, and then what? And then like,
Dude, do you want to hear some of the scores?
yeah,
The
let's
scores
hear
are
it.
pretty funny. Okay, I'm not gonna go down to like who said what, but I'm just gonna go down the list of just the review scores themselves. So Metacritic, which is what we base this show on, is 32 out of 100. So yeah, that's pretty low. So then here's some other publications. Some of these publications I've never heard of because again, it was the end of the 90s. Basically, it was still the 90s until about 2003. So All Game had 2 stars out of 5. EGM had 3.17 out of 10. 3.17. I don't know why you would just not say 3.
Well, EGM had 3 reviewers.
Oh, so it's like average?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah, they would, so on a lot of games, they would
okay,
do
well,
like out of 10, and then it would be like 3 different people. And like, they had like 1 major guy do the review, and then 2 guys that were like side guys.
That makes more sense. EP Daily had a 5 out of 10.
Oh, I did a move.
Which is generous. Oh, shit, I missed it. I'm reading stuff. What'd you do? Get hit by a rake?
I picked him up and I threw him. Which is
You're
what
learning.
I'm sure a lot of people did with this video game.
Game Informer gave it a 2 out of 10. Game Revolution gave it an F. GameSpot gave it a 6.4 out of 10.
Oh my
This
god.
is the most interesting. This is the most interesting one. Game Zone gave it a 7.5 out of 10.
They love their Simpsons Wrestling. Okay, so
IGN
that
gave
should
it
be
a
like
1 out of 10.
that should be where you go, okay, I can never trust any of these people again. Like that's
Yeah, I can never trust Game Zone. A publication I've never even heard of.
well, yeah, which
so.
is sad. Because I love Game Zone so much. Like now, I don't know what to think.
Huge Game Zone fan. Next Generation gave it a 1.
Gamehead,
Gave it 1 star. The official PlayStation magazine gave it 2 stars out of 5. And Maxim gave it 1.5 stars. So pretty shit reviews for the most part, except for a couple oddballs.
Yeah.
You just grabbed his nipples, dude. Did you just give him a titty twister?
I think so. It's weird. You get like stunned for a little bit, and then you can't move. But it's hard to say if that's that or the just unresponsive controls.
You're the wrestling guy, so I have to ask you: if I decided to become a pro wrestler today, let's just play along with the scenario. Okay?
You'd be Al Snow.
And
Anyway, keep going.
okay, well, hold on. And I entered the ring, and my signature move was the titty twister. Would I get disqualified?
I don't think you would. I don't think you would get
Really?
disqualified. I don't know if there's rules on that. There's probably are, but that's never come
Let's
up. to my
twist some titties!
Yeah.
That's my thing when I come out.
knowledge. Yeah. It's your theme
And
song.
I'm just all about it. That's like the only reason I'm there. It's like all I want. Like I'm too into it. It's like weird. You know?
That's a very like indie sounding gimmick. There's a lot of like on the gimmicks on the indies. There's so many weird gimmicks out there. There's like there was a guy that would just grab people balls and then like give them like a suplex from it. There was a guy that just dressed up like Michael Jackson and moonwalked through the matches and stuff. It's full of weird shit.
What if I dressed up as a hot dog, and every time I did a successful like move, like a wrestling move, I had to eat a whole hot dog, like bun and all. So like the match had to stop for a second so I could eat this hot dog, and it happens multiple times per match. So by the end of the match, I've just eaten like 15 hot dogs.
Oh, hold on. I deactivated Steam because it interacts with my like the left click for some reason. The left when you click the left stick, Steam thinks that like you want to interact with its virtual keyboard, no matter what app you're in. And so it brings up its like virtual keyboard menu. It's super fucking annoying. So
Did you miss my whole hot dog spiel?
Yeah, because the thing popped
What
up.
the fuck, dude? My fucking hot dog.
Do it again. Do it
scenario.
again. We'll take it from the top.
All right. What if I dressed up as a hot dog?
Okay.
And then I entered the ring as a hot dog, and every time I did a successful like move, like a successful like grapple or whatever it is, I had to eat an entire hot dog, fun and all. So the match has to stop for a second so I can eat the hot dog. So by the end of the match, I've eaten like 15 hot dogs.
What you're asking? What if that happened?
Yeah.
Then I think everybody would ask for their money back. That's what I would guess.
And like I have a glass of water, so I can do like the hot dog eating contest like dipping thing, you know, where you dip the hot dog in a glass of water, so you eat it faster.
Yeah.
So at least I'm trying to be nice. What is going on? What is going on over there?
I don't know. Like I'll do a move and then I'll try to do it again and it won't work.
I don't know why. I like when you just jump and kick their face. Okay, I think we should switch characters.
Like it's just very lazy.
Yeah, it's like at that point, why even make a wrestling game? Yeah, it's like, but again, for money. That's like the only thing.
It always comes back to that.
Just wanted to cash in on the craze. yeah. It's like they just wanted to cash in, which is so funny because I was reading the development thing, but I didn't finish it all in the episode. During the gameplay. After the part I read, it says in January 2001, Fox Interactive ceased operating as a standalone publisher to focus on development. So I think this was like right after they had stopped publishing games. And then a company announced that Activision would co-publish and distribute titles in North America. The publisher citing a casual gamer interest for their acquisition. I don't know how long this company even lasted after this. Let me click on Fox Interactive and see how long they even lasted after this game. 2000. Okay, so they did do a couple of years after this. There's the Simpsons Wrestling. The Simpsons Road Rage came out the same year. That one's actually pretty good. Wow, that came out the same year. And then they did some games in 2002 and 2003. Some of them are okay. Some of them are bad. And then after that, there's like stragglers where where Fox Properties got games, but they still had the brand around, but they didn't actually make the games,
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. So so this is like 2 years prior to them just ceasing operations altogether. I don't know. I'm looking at their list of games here, and there's a few that I can point out from this point on that I know are pretty good. Wow, they made Croc. We can't escape Croc, Spencer. We can't escape talking about Croc.
Actually, I think in the back of my brain, I knew that they made Croc. Like I remember seeing that. Anyway, interesting.
But from this point on, like there's some other games. Like there's the Simpsons Road Rage, where I know it's supposed to be pretty fun. The Buffy game on the Xbox is actually a pretty cool game, and like Die Hard. They had some Die Hard games that are pretty good, and so they had some okay stuff after this point, but there's all kinds of garbage sprinkled in here too.
Wait, did they do the
Ice Age,
the Die Hard trilogy on the PS1?
I think so. Hold on, let me go back up. Yes, they did do Die Hard trilogy.
Can I tell you the weirdest story about that
Yeah,
game?
go ahead.
Like, I had a neighbor who was probably 5 years older than me, maybe more. And there's a reason that's creepy, is because like he used to like having me over at his house for some reason, but he was like a bad kid. Like he was like a troublemaker. But he was like, come over and like have a milkshake. And like he would make me milkshakes and stuff. And you're immediately gonna see where the story's headed. I was like, okay, and he was my next door neighbor, so it wasn't like it was like a weird place or anything. but it was a weird place. And one day he was just like, I have Die Hard. You want to play that? And I'd never even seen the movie Die Hard, so I was like, it didn't really mean anything to me, but I was like, I like video games, so I'll play it. So I said, sure. And so I just kind of like sat there and played video games. And every once in a while, he'd just come in. He's like, do you need a milkshake or something? And I'm like, sure. And he's like, okay. And so I literally just played that game for like 2 hours in his bedroom while he would just bring me milkshakes. And then at one point I beat it and I got up I beat whatever. I don't know if I beat it or just got done. But I got up and he wasn't in the house. Like I got up and he was just kind of like in the neighborhood, just like roaming around. And I just like, it's like, all right. And I just went home and I never went back. It was one of the most bizarre things that like ever happened to me.
And now whenever Spencer watches the movie Die Hard with Bruce Willis, he thinks at that time he got groomed with milkshakes.
Yeah, I was like, I could really go for a milkshake right now. Stop it! Stop it! You don't need a milkshake.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! No!
I wonder if he had
No,
like a
that is
hidden
weird.
camera in there or something. But it was probably too early for that even. I don't know. It was weird. It was so bizarre.
That is weird.
You think Barney's the way to go?
Can you adjust the settings? Can you adjust the difficulty or something? Is it like a yeah? Go to the options. What we got? Okay. Turn the rounds down. 1. Yeah, there we go. So that way you just need 1 successful round.
Yeah. Okay. Who should I pick? Willie seems like an obvious choice. He's freaking jacked.
Apu.
Okay.
Apu. Look, I would back Apu in a fight, okay?
Is there a chance the track could bend? Not in your life, my Hindu friend. Oh, I fucking love The Simpsons at this. Not this era, because now that you told me it's 2000, I guess I didn't like it then. But
It's 2001.
2001, yeah. But mid 90s Simpsons. Oh my god, there's nothing better.
Yeah. What do they fall off? Like season 9, somewhere around there. Like,
They start the fall starts, I think, around season 8 or 7. I think season 6 was the last one where I was like, wow, this is all good. Because I watch it like religiously on Disney Plus, and I try to chart when things get bad, and I swear it's like after season 6.
have you ever done a full go, like a full watch?
Hell no.
Come on, dude. That'd be like a fun challenge. Like try to watch the entire show.
You have a lot of those fun challenges. I think that sounds miserable.
Yeah, but like in a good way. It's a good misery. Dude, you're doing good. I think Apu's the way to go. Holy shit, dude. Come on. Apu for the win.
I've
never been that.
I'll watch.
Sorry, go ahead.
I watched there's an episode where they go to Japan. Simpsons go to Japan, and that's about when I check out. I go like, okay.
I always hear people always say the one that like breaks it is the one where they change Principal Skinner's background, like the changes in story to be like a different.
I guess it's not that great. It's certainly in the downtrend for sure. I don't know if that's the one.
That's the episode. That's like the tipping point for a lot of people. Damn,
See, like I don't know how I did that because I tried to do that same thing again and it doesn't work. There we go.
I like The Simpsons, but I've never been that big of a fan. I do have some of the early seasons on DVD though. Dude, you won! Oh yeah, dude. Wait. Oh, round. Like how many things are in a round?
Maybe it only affects like the single player, like playing with your friends mode or something.
Oh, I can't imagine anybody did that
Yeah.
for very long.
No, I was obsessed with The Simpsons. I had like a Simpsons trivia game. I loved The Simpsons.
I like The Simpsons. The problem is that whenever I was growing up, what the show that was airing wasn't very good because it was the 2000s. It was like early 2000s.
Yeah.
So it was like when I got old enough to watch it, it just wasn't like great, you know.
Yeah.
And I had other why would I watch that if like all my friends are watching fucking Family Guy and South Park, you know? Which South Park was popping off by that point. So it's like fuck this show.
Yeah, no, it's definitely like all this shit is like a moment in time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Family Guy. I liked it at the beginning, and then I realized that like one thing is like The Simpsons just tried to be more like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I want you to be, you know, The Simpsons. And they just like, no, we're gonna get really wacky. Because it's cool.
Yeah.
The thing that was great about The Simpsons, they always had a heart. Like it was always meant for like the design of The Simpsons was so genius because they were able to make it entertaining for like children, but also adults, like at the same time, which is like should be impossible.
I think a lot of the Simpsons fans went over to Futurama, which I don't blame them. I fucking love Futurama.
I can't stand it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like that show.
That's sad.
It's got moments because it's, you know, Matt Groening, but like
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I don't like necessarily Matt Groening. Like he did a show called Disenchanted on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched that. The only reason why I watched that was because it had Eric Andre in it. I was like, I'm interested. It was honestly, it was just medieval Futurama.
Yeah, it felt like that. Like, but it felt even worse than Futurama.
It felt like Futurama at least has some fun sci-fi concepts and stuff. It felt like that, but without the fun sci-fi concept, so it's just dumb.
Yeah, I think what I really like is Conan O'Brien. I think that's just really what I like. Was just his humor and a lot of that stuff. And as soon as he left, I think he left around season 4 or 5 or something. As soon as he leaves, it's like, oh, there's like this big hole of quality.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm looking at it, and like, there's not some bad. Like, there's the Die Hard trilogy, Alien trilogy, which I talked about before, Croc. Like, there's not terrible games under this company, but there are some other games that I'm looking at, and I'm like, okay, this is clearly garbage. Like the X-Files game, like, I'm sure that wasn't good. You know, it's like there's clearly some stuff in here that's probably just random garbage that they made. By the way, there was a King of the Hill game for Windows. I didn't know that.
For Windows,
but yeah, there's some garbage for on Windows. You can play King of the Hill in the year 2000. So
only
yeah,
on Windows.
Only on Windows. Dang it, Bobby! Why are we using Linux?
Dad,
Can't play our game.
I only have Linux.
Dad.
Dad.
Dad, I can't afford Windows, Dad.
You said Windows is too expensive, Dad. Damn it,
You
Bobby.
said we can't.
No, we can't play our game.
Dad, you said that Bill Gates was a Marxist. And now we can't support him, Dad. Damn it. Bill Gates is a Marxist. Getting really into it. So yeah, it's no shock that this company died.
No.
Oh well. I guess Disney owns all this now, right?
I guess they do. Worst
Yes, they
Disney
do.
game ever made?
Maybe. You're not far off. I don't know. There's probably some really bad ones in their catalog. Man, with all the acquisitions they've made too, God, there's probably some really bad stuff in the Disney catalog now. Like the Disney game catalog.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Wonder if there's any movies Disney technically owns that they're like, we're not even going to put it on our streaming service. 'Cause it's like-
Oh, probably.
Probably 'cause it's so offensive.
they own like all. Oh yeah, they own all of the Miramax stuff.
So if you're going from like that angle, oh man, yeah, it's like you're already like all the Weinstein Company stuff. Like, so yeah, there's probably some like.
Oh, but they're also
I mean,
good.
I think they technically own like some of the. No, they don't own that stuff. I think he got it back, but I know like Miramax did some of the Kevin Smith movies. So I was gonna say maybe Disney owns Jay and Silent Bob, but I don't think they do. I think Kevin Smith owns that. But I was just thinking like, yeah, there's some Miramax and
I think-
Weinstein Company stuff.
I think Weinstein made so many good movies. Like it's like produced, I guess. I mean, I don't want to say made them, but he produced produced them. I think like the creepier you are, like the better you are at like your skill, like your talent.
Yeah. All we're saying here on Quest of the Worst is Weinstein verified cool guy. That's good.
Well, he was. I mean, if we're being real, like, what was he not like cleared of all charges?
Like, I don't want to get into this. I was just making a joke.
So,
I don't want to get into hard
in some ways, Mr. Weinstein, he could go on a cool trip where he earns his revenge on everyone for calling him gross. Of course, he's like a horrifying
he's
monster.
back and he's pissed off.
Yeah.
Weinstein's back and he's pissed off.
You know what he should do is he should go on a tirade where he slams all the other Hollywood executives. And he's like, okay, you think I'm just because I'm gross looking, like you think you can drag my name through the mud? Think of all the other gross people that exist that that survived the Me Too movement. Oh, that should be his new crusade.
Speaking of Me Too's, if you're ready, me too am ready to rank this game.
Weren't we gonna go on about the graphics? Talk about the graphics?
Oh yeah, we should talk about the graphics, aren't we? Shouldn't we? They look fine. I mean, they look okay. Honestly, I think they look okay, right? They look like the show, I guess. Like they have like a cell shaded look to them. The characters do. That make them look okay.
Yeah, I don't think this is a good example of cell shading though.
Yeah, but it's PS1, right?
Well, did PS1 have any other cell shaded games? Maybe not.
Not that I could think of. A lot of the games that were like based on kids' properties on PS1 that I could think of were like still animated in like full 3D, like look 3D, like 3D models. Like the only way, this is weird to say, the only other game I could think of on PS1 that I've played that was like a kids, based on a kids property that I can remember. I'm sure I played other ones, but that I can remember is Toy Story 2 and a Rugrats game, and they both look like 3D models. That Toy Story 2 game actually pretty damn good, but they just look like 3D models. They don't look like this. So maybe, I don't know. And probably not an early example of cell shading, but like in terms of the hardware, maybe like one of the earliest pieces of hardware to have 3D cell shaded graphics. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess in some ways it's a pioneer. Simpsons Wrestling.
True pioneers, the Simpsons Wrestling. Yes.
Kind of like Bubsy was trying to tackle 3D gaming. The Simpsons was trying to tackle cell shading.
Literally.
I think they both. Tried to power slam cell shading. And they both, I guess historically because they're on ranking the worst or quest for the worst, but they both failed at their quest.
Yeah. I think in terms of this game's presentation, the best part is just, and not even that, it's not even that great because I think we ended up turning the volume down, so we didn't hear a lot of it. But the best part of the game is just the fact that it has the voice actors. So like, there's at least some entertainment factor there with having the actual voice actors there to voice the characters and stuff, to bring them to life in a video game. I don't know how many Simpsons games at that point have done that. So like, that's cool. But the game looks horrendous. Other than that.
And it's unplayable. Like realistically, it's unplayable. The game.
I legitimately, when I was watching it first play, I legitimately thought my stream was going too fast. Like the frame rate or something, because it looked like uncontrollably fast.
Yeah. And that's...
I was like, is something wrong with the stream? And then I realized that was just the game.
Okay.
Like I thought maybe my stream was trying to catch up, And I was like, nope, that's just it.
Okay, if you're ready to rank it, I'm ready.
Yeah, I think I'm ready to rank it.
All right, let's move to the table. Right now we have Bubsy.
On the last...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll say, on the last episode of Quest for the Worst, we ranked Bubsy 3D the worst game of all time. It's also the only game we've played on the series so far. Until today! Spencer, the Simpsons Wrestling, is it better or worse than Bubsy 3D?
I would personally argue that it's worse than Bubsy 3D. Bubsy 3D, I actually have and gained some respect for it, despite it being obviously not very good. They also were trying something very, very bold with it. And for that, I give them a certain amount of credit. Especially considering Bubsy 3D came out the beginning of the PS1 era. When 3D gaming hadn't really happened yet. So they were trying to usher in 3D and trying to do something new. They failed, but they were trying to do something great, and you could see the effort, and you could see what they were trying to do. Whereas the Simpsons Wrestling kind of makes me sick. It makes my stomach hurt thinking about the Simpsons Wrestling, where it's understanding cash grabs at their worst. Whenever you think of the word cash grab, this should be the poster child for it, and it's disgusting. It's let's make an unplayable. It really is nearly unplayable. An unplayable game with almost no effort and almost no options and almost no features. And just slap the Simpsons on it, and it's oh, hey, that's Homer's voice. Cool. That is this game, and for that, I rank it the worst game of all time on our list. What about you?
Yeah, I am gonna have to agree. When I look at Bubsy 3D was at least identifiable as a video game with a clear structure and purpose behind its gameplay. And when I look at The Simpsons Wrestling, it looks like somebody accidentally programmed what could be a wrestling game and then put it on the disc. There's no actual purpose behind what they were going. It's not like we really wanted to set out to make Bubsy 3D, you could tell they wanted to set out to make a ambitious game, and they just failed. The Simpsons Wrestling, I don't think they set out to make anything great. They just set out to make something they could put on a disc. And watching you play it hurts my brain.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I would have to agree. This is definitely worse than Bubsy 3D.
Okay. So that means the crown has been taken. The Simpsons Wrestling is the worst game of all time, according to our list. Ta-da!
Schmimpson. Will it be dethroned? We'll see. Schmimpson. Next time on Quest for the Worst, we are actually taking a user, which we'll do this time to time. So if you submitted a game, don't worry, we'll get to it eventually. We'll probably sprinkle them in with other games we're going to do. So next episode, we are going to do a user submitted game. A viewer submitted. I don't want to say user like I am Metacritic. A viewer submitted game. We are going to do. Mr. Ty Lord Stevenson recommended us play Mortal Kombat for the original Game Boy. Dun, 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 Game Boy, and we are going to play that on the next episode of Quest for the Worst, which should be interesting because Spencer, I actually had this game as a kid. So it'll be a fun revisit to my childhood.
Okay.
Ow! Ouch!
True. Damn, dude.
Ouch! Oh my!
Can you?
Ow!
I don't know if we can end this without you winning at least one round.
I did win a round. I won the round before I lost this
yeah,
one.
you know what I mean? Like a full round. I want you to beat Barney.
He's impossible. Look how hard he is.
No one can beat Barney.
He's unbeatable.
I'm really sad. I don't know if you can unlock Principal Skinner, but I'm really sad that you can't.
I'm invulnerable
Play
now.
as him. Get him.
So I'm gonna punch him a bunch while I'm invulnerable.
Like going back and watching the old show, I found that I think my favorite character is probably Principal Skinner.
Skinner's funny.
He's so funny.
I like Lenny. Lenny's awesome.
Yeah.
He just has like stupid observations. He's like, when I was a kid, I thought he was really stupid, and then I watch it now, and I think he's actually kind of smart. Like he's one of the smarter characters in the show. Apu's like the smartest character, I think.
I think Fox missed an opportunity though to rebrand this game, since they also own some other shows at this time. They could have easily rebranded this as King of the Hill Wrestling.
Yeah. Definitely better like wrestling music as the replacement.
Yeah.
Damn it, Bobby!
Damn it, Bobby!
I was hoping that they would talk more in like the matches,
Yeah.
because I was excited for Homer to be like Marge, Lisa's putting me in the figure 4 leg lock. And then, of course, they'd have to have a figure 4 leg lock, which they would never do.
Oh!
There you go.
Thank you.
Yes! Yes!
There you go. Thank you.
Apu! Hey, thank you, come again. Yes, dude, save the game, save it! No!
Okay, now we're
You
facing
didn't
Homer.
save it. Okay. I don't know how long we've been recording, but...
About 30 minutes.
Alright. Dude, it's itchy and scratchy. That is cute. I like that loading animation.
Homer Simpson.
Oh, look. Okay, there's Radioactive Man.
I'm going to give you such a
Yeah, I saw
Watch
him
out,
earlier.
Radioactive Man.
Oh, the heat
We were here
There's
earlier.
Mr. Burns.
Mr. Bird! Oh, man, I wish you could play as Mr. Bird.
Kent Brockman. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick.
Simpson, Simpson, you say?
Simpson, eh?
Simpson, eh?
There's Carl. There's Lanny. There, and then there's a bunch of workers. Okay. At least, the faces that I know are there. That's all I ask.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were out by this point. What did you think of the movie? Did you watch the movie when it came
Oh,
out? Like
God.
2006 or whatever?
Yeah, I saw it. It was horrible.
Really? I didn't mind it. I didn't think it was that bad.
Ah, no good.
It's definitely not something I would watch more than like twice, but
I just remember watching it as being so confused. Like, does anybody still watch The Simpsons? I guess maybe they did.
yeah, it also just felt like an episode of the show. But like,
And that's the funny thing is it maybe to me it didn't, because I watched when the show was a little more grounded. And so it
I
felt,
had the same issue when I went and watched. At least they tried to make it different, but I went and watched the Bob's Burger movie whenever it came out, like a few years back. I saw it in theaters, and I like Bob's Burgers. I think it's a pretty good show.
Yeah, it's a good
and,
show.
And I was watching the movie, and like they at least tried to make the movie feel different because they made it like partially like a musical, which is something the show doesn't do, you know. So like at least it felt special, you know. But the Simpsons one just kind of felt like the show. It felt like you were just watching the show.
I think my girlfriend watched the Bob's Burgers movie because she was into it, and she and her sister or something went to see. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like they saw it, and I was like, "How was it?" And they're like, "Eh."
I mean, that's the problem with like adapting a show like that for a movie.
Yeah, it's like, do you really
It's
want to
like-
see these characters for 2 hours?
Yeah, it's like, you're used to being at home and watching it for 22 minutes at a time, you know. But then you go to the theater, and it's like, this is your main event. The only one that's ever pulled it off is South Park.
Yes.
That movie is phenomenal.
It's legitimately my first or second favorite musical, behind
It's so
or
good.
ahead of The Wizard of Oz. I adore that.
Such a good movie. Yeah. It's like that is the only one that's ever been able to do that. And God forbid they'll never be able to do it again because they're shells of them. Their past selves.
I don't know. Are they? I haven't. I literally have never watched, like, religiously watched the show because I never had cable. So did South Park like take a downturn, or what's the deal with it? I hear it's still around.
It's not,
Right?
yeah, it's not terrible, but it's don't know. I feel like I feel like the only reason they're still going is because like the network lets them, and they just want to, like, I think they said before, like, they just want to go until they can't anymore. So I think they're just doing it to do it. I don't think they care that much. Like, the show's become more about Randy Marsh than as the kids, because they like that character a lot. I mean, which he is funny, you know.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't know. I mean, it's not terrible. I would say it's better than the Family Guy and the Simpsons are at this point, but it still isn't even close to like its heyday.
Family Guy hasn't changed at all, right? It's still like the exact same
That's
thing.
its problem. That's its fucking problem. Is that it has no audience. It hasn't changed at all, so it's still writing for an audience from 2003, and that's not who watches it.
I remember like forever ago it was a big deal because like the dog died, and I'm sure.
Oh yeah, like it was like
brought him back,
2014. Right? Brian died, and then they replaced him for like 2 episodes, and then they brought him back. And I want to say they probably brought him back because they knew it was gonna get like big backlash and stuff. But I love whenever like they asked Seth MacFarlane, he was like, "I just wanted to remind everybody to appreciate what they have." Or something. I was like, "Shut up!"
Oh my!
Like, shut the fuck up, dude. I don't give a shut up. Go make the fucking Cleveland show.
Yeah. Oh, that's disgusting. They say that's when they jumped the dog.
Jump the dog. Jump the Brian.
Yeah, they jumped the Brian. Homer's eating a donut during our match. That's disrespectful.
That is funny. So why are the Simpsons yellow? Do you think they all have like jaundice or something?
Most likely. It's a terrible disease.
I've
Springfield's disease.
had enough of this.
Okay.